Alright. What's up mga kachimek? So, your boy Sir Jello here once again, and welcome to another episode of our chemistry adventure. So, we have a very few topics left before the end of the semester. So, hopefully, we still enjoy the discussion as we move forward towards your graduation. So, we're still under the topic of carbon compounds, under organic chemistry, specifically hydrocarbon. So, let's check what are we going to discuss for today. So as usual, let me present to you our objectives so that we always know where we are going and to check if we are accomplishing anything. So first is to recall, obviously, the rules in naming alkane and alkenes. Because as I've mentioned over and over again, these hydrocarbon rules are very related to each other. We are tweaking, we are modifying a bit of the rules, but generally, the rules are quite similar. Then, finally, we'll introduce the last kind of hydrocarbon. Excuse me. That's alkyne. Busog si Sir Zello. And then, we'll differentiate alkane, alkene, and alkynes. Just an overview. Should you encounter them in multiple choice, the comparison and contrast of these three. And then, the more important thing in our discussion is state and apply the rules in naming, obviously, alkynes. So, are you ready, mga chimek? Alright, let's go! Alright, so, to begin, as usual, let's check our position in our chart. So, we're done with the alkanes. Now, a lot of examples were given. We're also done with the alkenes, and finally, we're here in our alkynes. And eventually, next meeting, next session, we'll talk about the arenes or our aromatics. Alright? So, alkynes muna tayo. So, we've learned in our previous session that alkanes are aliphatic hydrocarbons, meaning straight-chained carbons with no double bond or triple bond. And these are saturated, meaning all carbon accommodates all electron of carbon, valence electron of carbon accommodates either four carbons or four hydrogens or four side chains, any side chain. And the formula is CnH2n plus 2. We had the prefixes met until dec for the first 10. We learned that the suffixes are A and E because it's a single bond hydrocarbon, the alkanes. We also compared alkanes and alkenes in our previous videos. We learned that it's also an aliphatic hydrocarbon, meaning a straight-chained hydrocarbon. We also learned that it has at least one double bond. So, because of the double bond, the hydrocarbon alkenes are unsaturated, meaning the four valence electron are not fully satisfied, meaning hindi sila tigi-isang hawak because of the double bond between carbons. And since may double bond, we learned that there is no such thing as methane, because a carbon cannot have a double bond with a hydrogen. It should be paired with another carbon to have another double bond. And once we have two carbon, it becomes our F. Our two carbon is F. So our first alkene is ethene. There's no such thing as methane. So, we have ethene. Sabi ko nga, kapag ethene ka na, magdedebo mo na yan. Charot. And the formula now, we remove the plus 2 because it's 2 hydrogen less as compared to the alkane. So, we have ethene, propene, butene, etc., until 10. The prefixes are not changing. However, we use now the suffix ene for double bond. So, first we have A, then we have E. And finally, for our topic today, alkynes. What is alkyne? What is an alkyne? An alkyne is still an aliphatic hydrocarbon. Again, meaning this is still a straight-chained hydrocarbon, meaning it's an open one where another carbon can still connect. Why I'm repeating this? Because the last topic of hydrocarbons are our aromatics or arenes, meaning they are circular in nature, spherical, closed in a certain way. Here, if alkane are single bonded, alkenes are double bonded, our alkynes are triple bonded, no? Or technically, at least one triple bond is there. So if there's a triple bond, automatically we are talking about an alkyne, no, with a Y. So kung nalilito, since one letter difference lang siya, so hopefully this helps. Alkane is E-N-E. Alkene is alkane is A-N-E. Alkene is E-N-E. Alkynes are Y. No, Y-N-E. So in for alkane, in for alkene, and ein for alkynes. Sige, sorry, mali. Ayan. These are amazingly arranged alphabetically. So meaning A is for one bond, E is for double bond, Y is for triple bond. Because some students are being confused kapag halimbawa sa question sa exam, what hydrocarbon has a double bond or a triple bond? Tapos minix yung pakaka-arrange. Halimbawa A is alkyne, B is alkane, C is alkene. Sometimes they are getting confused. So tandaan, if you arrange them alphabetically, in, A, E, Y, no, that is your chronological order of bonds. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Joke yan. Pataas. Yeah. Got it? Alright. Now, hopefully that helps. Salamat sa mga tumatawa pa rin, no? Kahit ang pabadoy ang jokes ni Sir Jello. So, because of the triple bond, similar with alkenes, alkynes are unsaturated. So, we've discussed this already. Unsaturation means the maximum number of carbon to hold other things, other elements, supposedly, are not maximized because of the triple bond. And since there are triple bond, meaning that's in one carbon, one less hydrogen away again, no, kung dalawang magkakabit, di dalawa. So, we have -2 here. If you can recall, the alkane is CnH2n plus 2, alkene is CnH2n, and alkyne is CnH2n minus 2. Similar with alkene, wala tayong methane, no? Walang methane. Because, again, a hydrogen cannot form a triple bond with a carbon. Therefore, a carbon needs another carbon to form a triple bond. No, ito yung pinakasimple nating alkyne. 2 carbon, therefore, isa na lang ang hydrogen dito kasi 1, 2, 3, 4. No? We have here 1, 2, 3, 4. If we use the formula, that's 2 carbon, C2, H2N. So, 2 times 2, 4 minus 2, 2 hydrogen less. No? So, this is our very first alkyne, which is ethyne. No? YNE because there is a presence of triple bond. No? So, ethyne. We have 4, if we have 3 carbon, we have propine, no? Propine the sailor man. Bado yun. We have, we have 3 propine. If we have 4, we have butane. Kapag 5, we have pentine. Kapag straight, pentine. Charot. Hexine, heptine, octine, nonine, design. Diba? Mag-ayos ng bahay, maglalagay ng kung ano, magde-design. Sarot. Or kung anong pipiliin mong course sa college, kailangan mo mag-design. Bado yun talaga, Sir Jello. Anyways, we simply change the suffixes, Y and E. Now, prefixes are still the same. And we have a triple bond. So, triple bond are represented by 3 lines, either in a condensed formula or in our skeletal formula. And we'll see that in our examples later on. So that's your alkyne. Now you can always go back to these slides. Now these are all uploaded so that you can check their differences. Alright, for the next thing in our objective, now the rules in naming alkynes. How do we name alkynes? Alright, so if you failed to watch videos on alkanes and alkenes, this might be very difficult. So I suggest for this moment you go back to our previous videos in this YouTube channel, and also our synchronous session, which are uploaded in our Google Drives. No, the recorded sync session are particularly posted each class so that you can check further the examples, the rules, the exceptions, and the situations for alkanes and alkenes. But if you've done that already, or if you've stayed all throughout our asynchronous and synchronous session, naming alkynes will be very easy. No, trust me. Nagplanak siya tato. So we are still not following the rule of Sir Jello, but rather the rule of the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, or chemists, the UPAC. So this is our first alkyne, the ethine, which has a triple bond. And what can you notice here? Because of the triple bond, supposedly we've been seeing hydrogen being attached here and here, diba, previously. But we already know the repulsion theory. Since you have a triple bond here, the electron here will be pushed so that it will be as far as possible from each other. So let me redraw that here. So ito yung nakasanay natin. Una, nilalagyan muna natin dito hydrogen, but since wala ditong hydrogen and hydrogen, there's no longer hydrogen here, then therefore there's an empty space here. And according to the VSEPR, the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, they will be as far as possible from each other. And that's why it's not on the top. So this is not here. So let me just erase that to avoid confusion. So wala na siya dito, but rather it's on the side. And what can you notice on our that's why is it moving? On our first example of alkyne, what's the molecular geometry? So the molecular geometry, whenever there's a triple bond, it becomes very good. It becomes linear. Linear in shape. Kaya tayo nagdo-drawing dati ng ganyan, because if you can imagine this, we are referring to tetrahedral things. Halimbawa, may carbon ka dito, since skeletal kasi to, may hydrogen ka dyan. It's not a cross. Hopefully I can show you on our synchronous class. I'll prepare the hydrocarbon in a straight alkane para makita nyo na tetrahedral siya in shape. But this time, kapag may triple bond siya, the line becomes a straight chain, or a linear one in geometry. So from a tetrahedral, it becomes a linear. So this has an effect on our skeletal structure. So ito yung three-dimensional kung nahihirapan. So the bonds become shorter, they become closer because they're sharing 3 electrons now with each other, and linear in shape. 180 degrees dito ang ating angle. So if we draw that in a linear form, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. So this is 3 lines, but in chemistry, this is your ethine. Alright? Sige, let's explore this further, this way of writing. As we state the rule in naming alkynes. So before we proceed any further, again, science is how we appreciate it, how we use it. So I saw an advertising in the Google from Rexart International Incorporation. They are using acetylene. So what is an acetylene? An acetylene is just a consumer name, or a common name for the ethine. So basically, ethine and acetylene is the same. Maybe you've heard of acetylene. And acetylene is being used in torching things, specifically para mas familiar in welding. Ito yung ginagamit natin in welding, combining metals or even burning or melting some. It's a safe fuel. It saves us a lot of money unlike using other fuel, and it gives us excellent welding quality. So buy now our Rexart acetylene product or gas. So it comes in cylindrical tube. It's a gas, a refillable fuel. Alright. So again, we're not talking about random things that are not. Maybe you are not using it, but it helps you. Kung sumasakay ka ng tricycle, these tricycles are created by skilled workers using acetylene or ethine. Sige. So, ano yung sinasabi ko kanina? So, we've been used to structures in a zigzag shape, or a zigzag manner. But this time, we'll be seeing, what do you call that? Skeletal structure in this manner. So, ito yung crucial thing that I want you to remember for this period. So, here, we have a straight, an aliphatic hydrocarbon with a triple bond. So, ang counting natin usually is from a terminal or a starting point. So, ito, 1, 2, 3, and then crossings, no, or intersections, or where the line bends, 4 and 5. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If there is no triple bond here, that is correct. However, for such alkynes, no, in here, we always assume that whenever we see a triple bond, since it's a linear, hindi siya pwede mag-bend dito, there is a carbon here and a carbon here. So, ulitin ko, bakit ganito? Kasi kung normal chain ito, so dito pa lang, kung i-imitate ko, kung wala ditong triple bond, gaganyan sana siya. Chen. However, may triple bond na nangyari dito, and we cannot write it in such a manner for some reason. Now, because again, just to highlight, the triple bond makes our skeletal or our structure linear. So, dito, the counting will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, so since we learned that there is 7 carbon, we always go back to our foundation on alkane. As I've mentioned, kapag 7, we have hept. No, hept. So, we have a foundation now. Hept. And then, since we have a triple bond, it's an alkyne, we do not use ane or in, we use ine. So, heptine. Alright? And now, what's the next thing? So, probably, if you are wise enough, you can check it to yourself, alam mo na I should count from either left to right or right to left. No, it's your brain now telling you what to do because of the repetition, many examples that we had. And you'll ask yourself, saan ako magsisimula? No? Sa left or sa right? And then you'll answer it yourself that, probably, since you're not sure yet, I should give my triple bond the lowest number possible. And that is right. So, if I start from left, that would be 1, 2, and 3. Sa right naman, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Therefore, I start from left to right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, nanumberan ko na siya. And since I have numbers already, you know the drill. That's 3 hyphen heptine. And that is basically very similar to our alkane and alkene. No? The difference is we're referring to triple bonds. Excuse me. So, the first is find the longest carbon chain. That includes the triple bond. So, lagi nating sinasama si triple bond. No? Kahit minsan parang mas haba dito, pero hindi parang naging attachment lang si triple bond, that's wrong. We always include the triple bond in the longest chain. No? We prioritize bond over the attachments. Then we number the longest chain starting at the end closest to the triple bond. So, as I've mentioned, a 1 alkyne, minsan hindi na natin sinasali. Halimbawa, 1 heptine, we simply say heptine, is referred to an alkyne, a triple bond in a terminal, no, or a starting carbon. Yung mga nasa gitna naman are called internal alkynes. No? Same with alkenes, internal and terminal alkenes. Sige. So, ito, example of a terminal, an internal alkyne. An internal alkyne. So, first, find the longest chain. Obviously, this is my longest chain. Then, I count the carbon. Pwedeng ganito ka magsimula. Pwede mong bilugan kung it helps you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, again, this triple bond indicates that there are 2 carbons here. So, 5, that's pent. And it's an alkyne, so that's pentine. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So, dito, so 2 pentine. And by the way, this goes without saying or even writing that this can be written as pent 2 INE. No, this is again the old way, the modern way, but I think these two are both acceptable, and I think this is more convenient for us. So 2 pentine. So we get rid of this. No, we don't use it. But if in college, no, your professor chooses this one, at least you're aware that it's acceptable. Kasi baka sabihin nyo, hindi po yan ang turo ni Sir Zello sa amin. Yan. So how about a complex one with attachment? You may pause the video should you wish to try this one. Sige. So kung pinos nyo, thank you at nag-try kayo. Kung hindi, okay lang naman. So what will be the rule here? So the rule is that it's a very long one, but you may read it, or let me just reiterate it in my own word. So, prioritize, simplihan lang natin ang rule number 3, prioritize the triple bond. So, meaning, I can cover all the attachments. And I'll start counting after identifying the longest chain where the triple bond is closer. So, either left or right. So, that's my priority. Find the longest bond, longest chain. So, ito yung longest chain ko. Hopefully, you can follow the cursor. And then, the triple bond is closer to the left. Pwede kong bilangin, pero sometimes it's obvious. So, I start here. Pwedeng nandito tong CH3, ito CH3. Pwedeng wala. No? Sa skeletal structure, it doesn't matter naman. Baka mabigla kasi, sir, ano yung CH3? It's just a carbon with 3 hydrogen. Or a methyl na attachment. Ito naman, end carbon terminal methyl. So, dito tayo. So, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sorry. This is not a carbon. So, that may I pala dito. So, that's an attachment, iodo. May carbon ends here. So, that's 10. So, yan. May iodo siya. So, this can also be rewritten as like this one. Nandito yung I. So, may attachment at the end of the carbon. Sige. So, let me count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 because this is the last carbon. Ito, attachment lang siya. So, I have a deck. Since alkane siya, decyne or decyne. And then the decyne or the triple bond is in 1, 2, 3. So on the third carbon, so that's 3 decyne. And then I can list all my attachments now. So lagyan natin tuloy ng number para hindi tayo nahihirapan. So 10. So I have 1 and 2 iodo. So, 2 iodo because that's an alkyl attachment. No, hindi kasi natin masyado nagamit ang I on the previous example. So, I'm using it now. And I have 10 iodo. So, may dalawa akong iodo on 2 and I have another one on 10. And I have a methyl. So, one line on my 5th. And probably your mind is already constructing the name without me even writing it yet. So this becomes I comes first before M, no? Kahit may tatlo ka, magiging siyang tri iodo, 'di ba? So 2 10 tri iodo. Tri iodo. Pero hindi natin again sinasali sa pag-alphabetize ang prefixes. So it's still the first one. 2 to 10 triiodo, 5 methyl. If you pause the video and you get this one, congratulations. 3 decyne. So sorry for the handwriting once again. So that's 2 to 10 triiodo, 5 methyl, 3 decyne. So that's the third rule. Again, you can read it all you want, but what it tells us is that we prioritize the alkyne, no, the lowest number possible. We arrange the substituents in alphabetical order. My prefixes, we use dietri, tetra, etc., etc. The thing that we have been using over and over again in alkanes and alkenes. Alright, how about the fourth rule? So to answer the fourth rule, or to give you the fourth rule, let's take a look first at this example. So we have 2 more rules remaining, the fourth and the fifth one. Paano kapag meron tayong double bond, tapos merong triple bond? So ito yung rule. if there is a presence of double bond and triple bond, we make sure that the multiple bonds are given the lowest possible number. So we don't really care about the positioning of double bond unless otherwise. Now we come later on our fifth rule for a certain scenario. But in such manner, so we can only see this one in two possible scenario. So either sige, ito muna. Either we start counting, so obviously the first few rules, find the longest chain and make sure, no, kapag may double bond and triple bond, we're only after, similar to considering them as a substituent or a side chain, we are only after to making them in such manner that they have the lowest possible combined number. So halimbawa, if I'm going to start left to right, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 carbon. So if I start counting from left to right, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and then 5, 6. That would be 4 and 6. If I start counting right to left, take note, for those who are wondering, we always start counting or giving the position of carbon where it's first connected, no? Or kung saan siya unang nag-double bond or triple bond. So, halimbawa, right to left, that would be 1, 2. So, we write 2, 3, and 4. So, 2, 4 versus 4 and 6, we make sure it's lowest possible number. So, 2, 4, I'll start counting from right to left. So, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, here's the tricky part. So, I've applied the first 4 rules. Now, how do I name my compound with an alkene and an alkyne? So, you can pause the video and try naming it should you wish to. Or just for fun, kung may mabuo kang pangalan. Sige. Sige, if you pause the video and tried, let's check if you got the correct one. Kung hindi naman, no, it's okay because it's a new example. So here, the dilemma is we have a double bond and a triple bond. So should I name it an alkene or an alkyne? Now, according to the UPAC, no, our international union, if there is a double bond and triple bond, na the triple bond will be the last name and the double bond will be the first name. So what do we mean by that? So we first write the position of 2 of the double bond. So that's 8. So that becomes 2 oct. Oct. But to indicate that there's a double bond, we place dapat ENE, no? Kasi that's 2 octene kung walang triple bond. However, we have a triple bond on the fourth carbon, so we place 4 Y and E. And for some reason, in cases where there is double bond and triple bond, inaalis na nila yung isang E dito because it will be redundant, no, or it will not be diphthongo tapos cluster, diba? You have a vowel here, as you have a seemingly vowel here, Y, no? Kaya inaalis na nila. So the real name or the correct name would be 2 octen, no, walang E. So let me just erase this now to avoid confusion. Pero para at least natin kung bakit siya naging octen, because of the presence of alkene or the double bond here. So 2 octen and then 4 ine. So naipalaman natin yung number ng triple bond. And this only happens when there is a presence of a double bond and a triple bond. So the name will be 2 octen 4 ine. Again, we make sure that they have the least possible number. So that's our fourth rule. And for the final rule, right? So in cases na ang position ng double bond and triple bond are on the same place, so what do I mean by that? So 1, 2, count muna natin, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I count from left to right, that's 1, 2, I'll have 2, and then 3, 4, and 4. here, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, that's 2 and 4. So, paano kapag nagtabla yung following the rule number 4, dapat yung least possible number. Pero, the same sila. So, ano yung gagawin natin? Any guess? Sige. So, let's check if your guess is correct. So, the fifth and final rule, in such cases that the double bond and triple bond are placed in the same carbon position, the double bond take precedence. No, we prioritize, no, the double bond as compared to the triple bond. So again, this is the rule given to us by the UPAC. So kapag tabla ang positioning ni double bond and triple bond, we prioritize the double bond. Unless otherwise, tatlo to, parang may tiebreaker. So, halimbawa, mahabang chain ito, tapos yung double bond dito, nasa 2, yung triple bond nasa 2, dito din, pero may mas malapit pa ditong isang double bond, therefore, it will make the total lesser, no? So, in cases such as this one, the equidistant sila from the terminal, 2, 4, 2, 4, the double bond takes precedence. No? It takes priority. No? We prioritize this one. Hopefully, nakita yung picture, no? Yung idea ng rule number 5. So, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You may pause the video to try the name for this one. Alright? If you've paused it, the name would be 1 and 2. So, I have a 2 on my double bond. So, the name of the double bond always come first, tapos last yung triple bond. So, 2, 6 siya. So, hexene dapat with E, pero we drop the E. So, hexene. And then, we have 4. The position of triple bond, Y and E. So, 2 hexene, 4 Y and E. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 5 rules in naming alkynes. Alright, so let's have the application, no, of our rule. So you may pause the video as I present the slide, and then in a bit I'll answer. So you may pause now. Sige, here we find the longest chain. Obviously there's no other chain against this one. So dito 1, 2, dito 1. So, obviously, I'll start here. So, that's 1, 2, 3. Kahit hindi ko nabilugan, 4. Sana nakaka-follow. 5, and 6. So, this becomes 1. Or kahit hindi ko na ilagay. So, that's hex, sen. So, sana alam kung bakit hindi na ako naglagay ng 1 kasi that's the position. Hexen, 4, Y and E. So, I know that at my terminal, I have a double bond because of this suffix. And then, at the fourth carbon, I have Y and E. If I invert it, parehas lang yung kalalabasan. So, very good kung nakuha mo to. Next example, you may pause the video. Okay, I have an attachment and a triple bond. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, question before I answer this. Sir, paano kung halimbawa mas malapit yung attachment sa right tas yung triple bond dito? Again, bond comes first before attachment. So we ignore the attachments. Parang ano lang siya, bonus. So here we have triple bond on the first and it's 6. So hindi ko kailangan ilagay yung 1. So kapag wala namang double bond, so madali. So that's just hexyne. And then, a methyl on the third. So, that's 3-methyl hexyne. So, walang number kasi it's on the terminal or it's in the first carbon. Alright, last example. So, let's make it a combination of a triple bond, a double bond, a single bond, and attachments. So, basically, applications of alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. So, sorry kung mabilis magsalita si Sir Jello. Tinatry kong maging 30 minutes or less lang ang ating video. Alright, so here 1, 2, number 2, then dito obviously, no, kahit hindi ko na i-compare and contrast, mauna ka dito kasi nasa terminal. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Sige, 8 and 9. So I have a non, pero I have a double bond on my 7th, so I'll place 7 non-nin without E. And then I have my 1. So in places that I have a double bond, kailangan ko i-indicate dito yung 1 to separate my triple bond to my double bond. So sana alam kung kailan maglalagay ng 1 at kailan hindi. Kung triple bond lang, so walang double bond, hindi. But since may double bond tayo and triple bond, so I have to separate them via number. So 7 nonin, 1 ine. And then I have 4 and 8 methyl. So that would be 4, 8 dimethyl 7 nonin 1 ine. Alright, so 4,8 dimethyl 7 nonin 1 ine. Seemingly difficult, seemingly complex, but understanding the rules in naming alkanes and alkenes and alkynes, no, you'll get to master it. And without even realizing it, no, you can already be one or at par with the members of the UPAC, no, in naming hydrocarbons. So for your tasks, no, let me create a special structure for you. Sige. Try naming this particular complex compound. Sabi ka, sir, grabe ka naman. Pero para sulit ang example natin. Take your time to name this compound. So there you have it. Should you have any questions with regard to the rules in naming alkynes and other concepts with related to alkynes, feel free to message me via email, Google Chat, or even Messenger. This has been Sir Zello. Shout out. Kasore ko 3 beses nag-brown out. Paulit-ulit ako mag-record. Na-stress ako doon. Peace out.